Have you ever wondered what lies behind the curtain of success in the heart of bustling Lagos, with its symphony of honking yellow buses and the delicious scent of roasted plantains, lived a woman named Amara Nagi. To the world, she was a titan of industry, a celebrated owner of vast farms and powerful trading companies. Her vibrant Ankara dresses and radiant smiles were the talk of the town, symbols of her immense success. But beneath that polished exterior, behind the glittering facade of wealth and achievement, Amara carried a quiet, persistent emptiness that no amount of naira, no business deal, and no accolade could ever seem to fill. What was missing from her perfect life? Stick around to find out. Every evening, on her way home from her office in Surala, Amara would see the same man. He'd be sitting right there, near the old bridge. He was always barefoot, his shirt torn at the sleeves, his face smudged with the day's dust. But what always struck her, what made her look twice, was his incredible calmness. He never begged, never uttered a single complaint. He just sat there, watching the sunset as if it were a private showing just for him, his one true friend in the world. It was a silent, powerful scene that played out every single day, a quiet mystery against the backdrop of the setting sun. What was his story? What thoughts occupied his mind in those serene moments? That's a question she found herself asking more and more. For weeks, she drove past him, a silent figure on the side of the road. Her mind told her to keep going, to ignore the pull she felt, but her heart had other plans. One evening, the city lights blurring through her window, she finally gave in. "Stop the car," she commanded, her voice barely a whisper. The driver pulled over. As she stepped out, the man rose from his makeshift seat. He wasn't what she expected. A stylish clothes worn but neat. "Good evening, madam," he said softly. His voice wasn't coarse or demanding, but filled with a quiet respect and a humility that felt like a forgotten melody in a world obsessed with power and wealth. In that simple greeting, she found something incredibly rare, a genuine soul, untouched by the greed that surrounded her daily life. "Why do you sit here every day?" she asked, her voice filled with a gentle curiosity. The man, weathered by time, but with a light in his eyes, offered a faint, warm smile. "Because the sun reminds me," he began, his gaze fixed on the horizon, "that even the deepest darkness cannot last forever." His words, simple yet profound, resonated within Amara's soul in a way she'd never experienced. She had listened to countless speeches from powerful politicians and wealthy business leaders, all promising grand futures, but none of their elaborate words had ever felt as pure, as true as this simple statement. It was a powerful reminder that hope isn't always found in grand pronouncements, but sometimes it's in the quiet, steady promise of a new day. The next day, I found myself drawn back to him, this time with a plate of jollof rice and fried plantain, a small comfort I could offer. He accepted it with a quiet gratitude that spoke volumes, eating slowly, almost deliberately. It was the pace of a man who had been forced to learn patience, who had seen life's swift currents and learned to simply float. He finally told me his name, Chaik. He used to be a school teacher, Baik in Enugu, shaping young minds. But then, tragedy struck. His wife passed away during childbirth, and shortly after, the school where he poured his heart and soul was shut down. In a cascade of misfortune, he lost everything that had once defined his world. He wasn't just a man on the street. He was a man with a story, a life, a past. From that day on, Amara made it a point to visit Chaik often. Their conversations would stretch for hours, weaving through topics that truly mattered. They spoke of the daily struggles faced by ordinary people, the incredible power of education to transform lives, and the endless well of God's mercy. Chike's clothes might have been torn and frayed, but the wisdom that flowed from him was more radiant than the finest gold. In those precious moments spent with him, Amara discovered a profound sense of peace and tranquility that all her wealth and possessions had never once been able to provide. It was a feeling she never knew she was missing, a connection that felt more valuable than anything she owned. See you next time. Picture this: a warm Lagos evening, the kind where the air itself seems to hum with life, under the gentle, flickering glow of a single street lamp. Amara, a woman whose beauty and grace were the talk of the entire city, sat beside Chick. Chick, a man who called the streets his home, whose worldly possessions were few but whose spirit was rich. In that quiet moment, with the city's distant sounds as their only audience, Amara turned to him. She looked deep into his eyes, the ones that held stories most people would never know, and spoke words that would hang in the air like a whispered promise. "Chike, will you marry me?" For a beat, the entire world seemed to hold its breath. The bustling street fell silent. The woman every man dreamed of, the jewel of Lagos, had just asked a homeless man for his hand in marriage. Have you ever felt like you weren't good enough for someone? That's exactly how Chike felt. He was a simple man, with barely anything to his name. And then there was Amara, a woman who seemed to have everything. When she told him she wanted to be with him, Chike was completely stunned. "Madame, I can't," he said, his voice full of disbelief. "Look at me. I have nothing. People will laugh at us. How can I possibly stand beside you?" But Amara just smiled, a gentle, reassuring smile. "They already laugh at the poor, Chike," she replied softly. "So let them also laugh at love. You are a good man, and for me, that is more than enough." Her words show us that true connection isn't about what you have, but who you are. Have you ever made a choice so bold that the whole world seemed to turn against you? That's exactly what happened to Amara. When her decision hit the streets of Lagos, it was like a wildfire. Whispers followed her everywhere. "She's gone mad," some said. "It must be witchcraft," others insisted. Her business partners pleaded with her, warning of ruin. Even her own family turned their backs, refusing to witness her wedding day. But Amara, her resolve was unshakable, as deep and strong as the ancient roots of an Iroko tree. She stood her ground, ready to face the storm she had created. What could possibly be worth risking everything for? Have you ever wondered what the greatest gift of all is? For Chike, the answer was simple, yet profound. When asked what he wanted for his marriage, he didn't ask for a dazzling mansion or a luxury car. His request was something far more precious. He said, "If you truly wish to marry me, don't buy me a mansion." Instead, he made a condition that would change lives. "Build a school," he pleaded, "for children who sleep hungry and go barefoot." Chike knew the life-altering power of knowledge. "Let them have what I once had," he said with a heartfelt smile, "the gift of learning." His story reminds us that the most valuable things in life aren't things at all, but the opportunities we create for others. Amara felt tears welling up in her eyes, a warm, unexpected wave of emotion washing over her. She'd braced herself, fully expecting him to ask for gold, for power, for a high-ranking status that would set him apart. But his request was something else entirely, something far more profound. He didn't want riches. He wanted a legacy. As the generator hummed its steady, quiet song into the night, a powerful realization dawned on her. It was a moment of pure clarity. She finally understood that true wealth, the kind that truly matters, isn't counted in coins or stacked in vaults. It's measured in the lives you touch, the people you uplift, and the positive mark you leave on the world. What a beautiful lesson to learn. And so, their incredible journey began. With a shared vision and hearts full of hope, Amara and Chaik set out to make a real difference. Amara, using her connections and influence, secured a plot of land in a struggling community just outside the bustling city of Lagos, near Mushin. It was a place where opportunity was scarce, but potential was everywhere. Chaik, with his creative spirit, took on the design of the classrooms. They weren't fancy, but they were filled with love. He designed simple, beautiful spaces, painting the walls in vibrant, joyful colors that seemed to smile at the sun. In just a few months, a miracle unfolded. Children who had once wandered the streets with nowhere to go were now sitting on brand new benches, each holding a pencil in one hand and a universe of dreams in the other. Their mission was just beginning. The air buzzed with excitement. On the opening day, the powerful beat of drums echoed through the village, a sound that seemed to make the very ground tremble. Women raised their voices in joyous song, their melodies weaving a beautiful tapestry of celebration. In the dusty square, children danced with pure, uninhibited glee, their bare feet kicking up clouds of red earth. Standing proudly beside Chaik was Amara, both of them radiant and matching, hand-woven also oak. Their outfits shimmered in the sunlight, a symbol of their shared success. And the crowd, the very same people who once whispered and mocked her, now cheered her name. Mama of the poor, they shouted, their voices filled with genuine admiration and respect. It was a day of triumph, a day when community and perseverance painted a masterpiece of hope. Years flew by, and that one small school blossomed into many, dotting the landscape with hope. Amara's businesses flourished alongside them, reaching heights she'd once only dreamed of. But something had changed within her. She no longer measured her worth by the numbers in a bank account. Instead, her wealth was counted in the joyful laughter of children echoing through schoolyards, in the quiet pride she saw on the faces of parents, and in the profound sense of peace that now filled her home. And Chaik, he remained the same humble soul, dedicated to his calling, still teaching, still serving his community with a gentle heart. He understood that true legacy isn't built with money, but with love and knowledge. And so, their incredible story blossomed into a legend, its seeds carried on the wind across Nigeria and far beyond its borders. It's the tale of the billionaire who, when faced with a choice, chose love over pride, discovering a wealth he never knew existed. And it's the tale of the homeless teacher who, with nothing but hope, transformed her deepest pain into a powerful purpose, touching countless lives along the way. Together, they built an empire not of gold, but of goodwill, proving that the strongest foundations are laid with love and compassion, things money can never buy. To this day, under the warm African sun, their story is still told, a gentle reminder whispered from mothers to their children. Remember, true wealth lives in the heart, not in the pocket. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring tales.